Things change though. The older you get, the less and less. Like when I was younger, I've been doing spots on Fox Sports Radio now for about the last 5-6 years, especially doing Trolling or Rolling on The Odd Couple, the show that immediately preceded us with Chris Broussard and Rob Parker. Right, I used to come into the studio to do that. Now, 6 years later, I'm doing that bad boy over the phone. Why? Because I just don't have the energy to get up and get in the car and spend
come do your segment.
Literally 2 hours in the car to do 10 minutes of radio.
Yep.
Nick Saban said something similar today. He said he couldn't deal with the newfangled things going on. He's too old. He's 72, and he wants things the way they used to be. And as a result, that's a big part of the reason why he retired. He said to ESPN earlier today.
Yeah, I was going to say, get ready.
I want to be clear that wasn't the reason, but some of these events certainly contributed. I was really disappointed in the way that the players acted after the game in which they lost to Michigan. You got to win with class. You got to lose with class. We had our opportunities to win the game, and we didn't do it, and then you're showing your ass and being frustrated and throwing helmets and doing that stuff. That's not who we are and not what we've promoted in our program. Side note, I love it when teams say something, or people in general say something like, that's not who I am. But you did it, right? It happened, right? So who was it then? Somebody snuck
then
in?
Who are you?
I guess the players from Southwestern University snuck into the locker room, and they were the ones throwing helmets and acting an ass instead of the Alabama Crimson Tide. But VJ, he says the shifting factors in college football have made players more out for themselves instead of pursuing team goals, and that was the thing. He said, quote, I thought maybe we could have a hell of a team next year, and then maybe 70 to 80% of the players they talk to, all they want to know is two things. What assurances do I have that I'm going to play because they're thinking about transferring, and how much are you going to pay me? Our program here was always built on how much value we can create for your future and your personal development, academic success at graduating, and developing an NFL career on the field. So I'm saying to myself, Saban continues, maybe this doesn't work anymore, that the goals and the aspirations are just different, and it's about, how much money can I make as a college player? I'm not saying it's bad. I'm not saying it's wrong. I'm just saying that's never been what we were all about, and it's not why we had success throughout the years.
First of all, Nick Saban is one of the biggest hypocrites in all of sports, and maybe in the history of sports. I've been on this for about 3-4 years when he started that snitching, telling on people. That's why I started calling him Snitch Saban instead of Nick Saban, because he was telling other people's business as if everybody's not doing the same thing. He lost his advantage. That's the type of competitive person I do not like. And I've never liked Nick Saban. And this is more than what he did to the Dolphins. Yeah, he tore the Dolphins down, set us back. People want to talk about the Breeze and the Culpepper thing. We didn't know what Breeze was going to be. He got with Sean Payton. I think most of us would think he did just fine with Sean Payton.
With that, but
I know. I get it. A lot of people do. But at the end of the day, proof's in the pudding. It is what it is. But when you look at the money that coaches make, the power that coaches have over people's lives, like they literally have major power over your life while you are under their care or under their tutelage of coaching while you were playing college football. And to think that maybe this doesn't work anymore. Yeah, because there's no more $100 handshakes on the sneak tip. There's no more stuff in the suit jacket with the envelope with the 500 because you went 23 or 36 for 375 in the rivalry game and 3 touchdowns and you ran one in. There's no more of that. You didn't want to compete anymore just because the landscape changed. You're still Nick Saban. You're still going to get players, but you don't have that power and control anymore. That was my main problem with him now speaking and saying all of this. And it's like, what are you doing? College football has treated you so well. You have done well for yourself. You have generational wealth. You're now going to leave, and people are calling you the greatest college coach of all time. You're now going to go sit on TV and sit with journalists and reporters and do interviews and pretty much trash the game because you didn't want to compete with the evolving, changing of the game, Nick Saban? Come on, man. Are you kidding me? For him to even sit and say this also, too, with the players. Well, that's not who you are. Let's not forget that defensive line walked through the warm-ups and the stretches of the Michigan offensive line at the Rose Bowl to try to set some type of intimidation that they weren't going to be able to block us, which Michigan did all damn day long. Then their offensive line walked through our defensive line to try to show them, no, y'all not going to be able to rush the quarterback like y'all have done to everybody else, which Michigan did all damn game long. So they're acting like that, but they can't throw a helmet. Like, come on, Saban. Martin, this is the same guy that got mad because he got a Gatorade bath after winning a national championship. You talk about the definition of hypocrite and grumpy. It's Mr. Nick Snitch Saban.
I mean, I guess so. I don't necessarily feel like that, but it makes sense to me that he would turn it like idea that a 72-year-old man wants to retire after the success that he has had. Remember, one snap away from a national championship berth if Jalen Milroe runs that bad boy in overtime, right? So, that's not one snap away from continuing the game, but regardless, on the margins of going to a national championship yet again. He's had 4 Heisman winners in his time at Alabama, won every Coach of the Year award that you can win over the time, got almost 300 college wins, right, to 71 losses, 292 to 71 and 1, 11 SEC titles, 7 national titles. It doesn't get much better than that. So the idea that now that the game is changing, now it'd be different if a Jim Harbaugh, for example, was talking about this is the reason why he ran to the NFL, or Chip Kelly, we're talking about him in just a little bit towards the bottom of the hour. If a college coach was to use this as the reason they ran to the NFL, but this guy has dominated winning at the old through the quote unquote old standard, right? He dominated college football in the old standard. Sure, we had a pop up of Clemson and Dabo Swinney and so on, and a few other pop ups. LSU had a pop up with Joe Burrow and Ed Orgeron towards the end, but he dominated college football for the majority of the time that he was coaching at Alabama. So the idea that if he says, look, the rules are different now, the things have changed now, I'm a little out of touch. I think it's kind of well received, the idea that he did this post-retirement. Now, if he was still out there sitting on couches with kids, going into wherever he was going to go get his players, telling mommy and daddy, this is what the University of Alabama can do for your son if you send him here for the next 3 to 4 years, then I'd be like, all right, Nick, which way do you want it? How do you want it to be? Because the rules that you're crying about, they no longer exist, right? It's like saying, I would love it if there's traffic in L.A. I was late. Why? Because of the traffic. I would love it if there was no traffic. I would love it if it was back like it was in 1965 when nobody lived here and you could just get in your Bel Air and go down the street and get where you're going with a relative amount of time. It's not how it is. No. It's not how it is. Now, maybe, no. He doesn't have a helicopter to go above the traffic. He got to get down there on the bus like the rest of us. And he said, you know what? I'm good on this.
I don't like the bus, so I'm going to stay home.
I don't like the bus, so I'm going to stay home.
No.
Now, if you were sitting there on the, like, if you, I had that, that's my thing. Like when he went to, when Texas A&M and Jimbo Fisher was spending XYZ amount of dollars to get all them kids, and he goes, well, you see Dion over there at Jackson State, you see Jimbo over there at Texas A&M.
Snitching.
But see, that, I don't like that. I don't care for that. But he's a commentator at this point. He's going to be on ESPN when week 0 of college football. He's commentating on the game. I don't have an issue with it.
Nah, I have a major issue with it. And just to back on a few of your points that you made, okay, if you want to leave, fine. And if you want to leave because of the reason that he stated, Martin, I don't even have a beef with that. But don't try to trash the new way, because now it's looking like, okay, we know why you left, because the recruiting was getting not worse, but more and more kids were choosing schools over Alabama. And we know because it's probably, I don't have proof for every player that didn't choose Alabama, but we know NIL is viable. It's here. It's a real thing. Caleb Williams made $12 million in 2 years at USC, and it had nothing to do with what happened on the football field. It's just a simple fact. He's selling his likeness. He's selling his
everything to do with what happened on the football field. You're right.
The football
field is the reason why.
You're right. I said that wrong. My bad, listeners. I said that wrong. Thank you, Martin. But when you look at, if you want to leave, that's fine. Go to your rocking chair. Go sit on TV. Like, I don't care. But to be a hypocrite now, because we all are smart enough to know the way college football used to be ran. And you can't do that anymore. Some coaches are willing to compete with it and just say, hey, you got to recruit all the time now. Yes, you do. Yeah, you got to recruit all the time now. Don't you got to recruit all the time in your relationship? If you're not recruiting all the time in your relationship, you'll be in therapy by your 10th year. You'll be divorced by year 12. You better keep recruiting your wife or your husband. You better keep recruiting better jobs in life, or you're just going to stay stagnant. You better keep telling the people that make you your money or make your life what it is, that they are important to you, and you are going to use them, and they're going to use you to the best of both of your abilities to get to the ultimate goal in football and college is winning the college football national championship. You just want to get a kid there and then be able to be a grumpy butthole the way Nick Saban acts. Okay, let's not act like that he does it. All right, but you can do that when you have that control over that player. When you piss the wrong kid off, that's like, you know what? I'm out of here. I'm gone. And they can do that, and they're getting money for it. That's what you don't like. Personality means a lot. Last point, how many former players go out of their way to speak glowingly about Nick Saban? Just find me all the clips, guys. I'm sure you can find me 2 or 3 guys that have said something great about him. But it's not a heartwarming feeling with this guy. DJ Fluker, their former All-American tackle, said he got paid when he got to the Chargers. He was running his mouth. Like, come on, dog. But I guess you didn't know about that. All the players that get in trouble, you don't know about that. You just want to coach football. All right, buddy. That's the problem I have with it, man. Is you?
No, he doesn't want to coach football anymore because he retired.
No,
which is the whole reason.
I don't buy that. He wants to coach football. He just doesn't want to have to compete with it the way that it is now.
Well, that's why he retired, because he doesn't want to coach. He doesn't want to do the things that he has to do.
No. Coach,
like, you can't have it both ways. Like,
I know that,
it's like
but
saying
he
you want a six-pack and not going to the gym.
But he does
want
want
a six-pack or you don't.
Oh, no. I know a lot of guys want a six-pack and don't have one.
Well, then you're lying to yourself. You're lying to yourself, and Nick Saban is not.
I disagree with that. I think the man still wants to coach football.
Then why would he retire?
Because he doesn't want to have to compete with the way it is now.
Then he doesn't want to coach.
No, I disagree.
It's one way or the other. Like, he doesn't want to coach. That's why he retired.
I would love someone to ask him that question, and then we get back to that. I would love somebody to say,
retire, do you think he'd be coaching right now this year?
Say it again?
If Saban did not retire, do you think he would be coaching Alabama this year?
Yeah.
All right. So there you go. If he wanted to coach, he could coach. He doesn't want to coach. That's why he retired.
No, he doesn't want to spend more time with his wife. I disagree.
Which is underreported, but it's a fact that he wants to spend more time with his wife, who is not doing the best that she can be doing right now. He wants to spend more time with her. He's 72 years old. He doesn't want to die on the recruiting trail. I don't have an issue with it.
Nah, I don't agree.
That doesn't mean it didn't change.
I think he still wants to coach. He just doesn't want to have to compete with the way it is now.
Well, if he still wanted to coach, then retiring is a really odd move.
He wants to get kids in the old way and have that power and control over them, to where he can be Nick Saban. He can be yelling and screaming and dressing guys down on the sideline like nobody's business, because kids have power. That's why player empowerment and like the NBA. We got the NBA up here on the screen in the studio right now. Player empowerment is what people talk about. That's why the coaches are softer now. That's why the coaches are softer, because a player can get you fired. In college, a player can walk out on you at any given moment. And he's getting money, so he's more liable to do it if you don't approach him or communicate with him his way. Some people don't want to change their ways. He doesn't want to change his ways, Martin. That's why he walked away. I still believe he wants to coach.
Well, he doesn't, because he retired. So if he wanted to coach, there's plenty of opportunity for him to do so.
We'll agree to disagree on that one. That's fine.
Yeah, because he retired. The 2 plus 2 is 4 there. If he wanted to coach, he could still do it.
Now it is. They'll change that in 10 years.
What? The 2 plus 2 will not be 4
I mean,
anymore?
they're trying to change everything else in the world. Why not math sooner or later?
All right, Common Core, he's coming for you, VEEJay Husky. Common Core is, Google it real quick, and you'll be shocked to find out what the way
Common Core
math concepts. You'll be shocked to see the way they're teaching kids in grade school.
Okay, I'm gonna look it up.
I'm not even kidding. I've
never heard of Common Core. All right, I got you.